As the workplace landscape and technology have changed dramatically in the last few years, our approach to leadership should also be adapting to keep pace. However, as women continue to break barriers and rise to leadership positions, it becomes increasingly evident that the traditional models of leadership aren't always tailored to our unique experiences and strengths. By embracing a new approach to leadership that acknowledges and appreciates the qualities that women professionals uniquely possess, we can unlock a wealth of untapped potential. Today, we'll take a look at a fresh approach to leadership better suited for today's work environment. Welcome to the Women's Leadership Today podcast, a feature of Women's Leadership Today. I'm your host, Michelle Myers. Today, I'd like to welcome Hulya Kurt, founder of NKIC. After spending 32 years with Reuters, where she led the DEI movement, Hulya chose to follow her passion of becoming a coach, mentor, and workshop facilitator, plus wrote her book titled Break Free from Your Hamster Wheel. Julia, welcome and thank you for joining us today to talk about your experience and how we should be looking at leadership today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the invitation. I really appreciate this wonderful opportunity.
Well, it's such a delight to have you with us today. And to get us started, can you tell us more about your own career journey and what led you to develop InKick?
Well, it all started, my career journey is not a usual one, I must say. My origin is Turkish. I grew up in Germany, but then after 18 years, my family decides to go back to Istanbul. That was 1984. So no internet, you can imagine, nothing like all the PCs and that we have. I started typewriting. I don't have any PhD, university, bachelor, and all that fancy stuff. I just started to work. But ultimately, I landed in a multinational company because I knew English. So that helped me. Those times it was precious. And from there onwards, because of my curiosity, I put my nose into customer admin. And from there onwards, I took on projects, right? So I was just holding my hand. Oh, I can do that. Oh, I can do this. And then I advanced to be supervisor, business admin manager, married, got a kid in 2005. Multinational company called me into Geneva to lead a huge team, etc. I did implementation, PNP, project management, you name it. It was never boring for me, I must say. I always had different responsibilities, etc. And that's my career move. It's not always horizontal or vertical. It's like a roller coaster, a career ladder. Never is linear at all. It can go to all kinds of various different directions. And after a while, what do big companies do? They make people redundant. This happened as well with me. So I said, okay, then I would like to share my wisdom, my knowledge, and expertise with all humans. And that's what really moved me to create my own company in Kick. So I kick you a bit to innovate yourself. I did my diploma in coaching because it's important here in Switzerland and everywhere else that you have got the formation, the education to do good because coaching is force for good. And we are touching humans. And honestly, you touch humans with mental, with mindset. And therefore, you need to know how to execute that profession, that valuable profession of coaching. And I love what I'm doing. So it's not coaching individuals only, but also collective workshops that I give and hold to companies, webinars, facilitate strategic meetings. I love that. And I work as well with universities to bridge the gap between the academia and the real professional life for our young professional force and generation which is coming up.
And Julia, there's a couple of things that you said that I really love. One is raising your hand. You need to raise your hand for those opportunities. Opportunities don't always find us, right? We have to find those opportunities. And I don't want to go too much into that because I know that's something you talk about in your book, which we'll touch upon later. But also, I really love what you said that our career journey isn't climbing a corporate ladder, it's a roller coaster. I really like that because we do think of it as very linear, like one rung at a time. And I'm sure on your roller coaster journey, you've really seen a lot of different approaches to leadership. And can you share with us why are traditional approaches to leadership no longer effective in today's work climate?
Wow, the new generation needs has got other needs, right? And a hierarchical kind of structure, the traditional leadership, right? This traditional leadership approach are often built on hierarchy structures with top-down decision-making process, and this is too rigid now. It's really doesn't foster creativity, innovation. It's limiting people and humans. And in today's dynamic environment, organizations need to be agile, and also the leaders. Command and control does not work anymore. The new generation needs self realization. That's what they're looking for. They look for autonomy, purpose. They look for purpose. You need to give them the purpose. That's so important. And motivation. You need to inspire them. You need to be a role model. So the traditional way of all what is leadership about or was about is out of the window, and the new leaders need to do this. Also, workforce expectation, it's different. It needs to be diverse, different backgrounds. And Gen Z, or millennials, often prioritize what? Not work, but they're looking for work-life balance. They're looking to have as well their own hobbies. They also want to have their own say. It's different. And rapid technological, advances, remote working, virtual teams. So leaders need to give trust to their employees. That's number one. And they need to be agile. And they should prioritize building strong relationships, fostering a culture of trust, encourage collaboration, working together, and embrace what? Diversity, inclusion, belonging, and equity.
And I like what you said about work life balance. That's a topic that we talk about quite a bit. And we've actually shifted a little bit to, say, work life integration because it's really not. Doing this and doing that. They've merged so much, especially since COVID in the last few years, and with the newer generations coming up and the differences in the expectations. But for some of us who have been leaders for years, maybe even decades, right? Sometimes it's difficult or uncomfortable to change how we do things, even if we know we should. It can be hard to, get out of our comfort zone. What sort of mindsets need to shift to be able to approach leadership in this new way?
Well, changing habits is not easy, as you know. So it really needs effort, and really thinking about what type of leader do you want to be. Uh, Ask that question first. Do you want to be a leader who is inspiring, that people do look up for, role model? It's all about you to decide, I want to be a new leader. I want to be advancing in my soft skills, in my human skills. I don't even call soft skills anymore, it's human skills. Because these are more important than anything else. The rest will flow. It's fine. Uh, but you need to decide and say, you know what? Now this doesn't work. My employees are not happy with me. And that comes out with surveys. Make sure that you do surveys, anonymous surveys as well. My team is not performing. There is a huge turnaround of employees. They ask feedback. Ask your employees genuinely how they're doing and what do they think about your leadership style. They will hold back, I know, but if it's anonymous, they might come up with some suggestions, and then you can actually say, you know what, it's time to change. Because if I want to be in the workplace, if I want to be a role model, if I want to inspire my employees and want to be seen as a modern, as an agile, flexible leader, then I need to take the leap of faith and change. And that requires work on a daily basis, because we can't change habits from one day to another or with only one workshop. That doesn't work. Our brain needs repetition. Our brain needs reminders, because we go immediately into our unconscious mind which says, no, you're always doing this. Why change, and then you're like, no, 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 I I'm conscious about that. I'm not going into that pattern. I'm absolutely going to change this. So it needs repetition, get feedback from your employees, what you need to change, and not only once. This is a continuous improvement journey for you. Leaders cannot say, I've done XYZ workshop. And no, no, not at all. You need to continue to work on yourself. And that's what it takes to become a better leader.
I like that you call soft skills human skills. And what are some of those most important human skill sets that leaders need to have to be effective today?
It's about trust, right? It's about being inspiring, being open minded. When you're in a team meeting, include everyone's view, listen. The first number one leadership skill and trait is listening. And that I mean 360-degree. We think we are listening, but we don't. So 360-degree means also listening to the words which were not unsaid. What is the body posture? It tells a lot about the engagement of the employee, about eye contact, the word that they're saying, the word that they're choosing, the feeling, the tone. Everything is giving away how the employee feels. So you, as a leader, first need to listen. You need to talk last. Get everyone's opinion. Be open minded. Be curious about the person. Put everything on the table. Have a collaborative approach to find solutions to a challenge. Everyone's voice needs to be heard. Make sure that this is the case. Include and invite anyone who's introvert to the table to speak up. So they feel, yes, my opinion is worth it. It matters. And give the purpose, the why. You know better than I do, Michelle. Now, at the moment, the new generation needs the why, the purpose. Why do I do this to this company? What are the values? What's in it for me? What's in it for the employee? You need to give, as a leader, the vision, the mission, the why, the purpose, so the employee feels engaged, empowered, and sees, oh, yes, now I understand. We are helping to actually fight climate change. I'm just making this up, for example. Or we're helping women's health here. We're improving women's health. Whatever you do, in which industry you are, you have a why. There is a why in each company structure. Articulate, communicate, make this a DNA in your culture. Yeah. So it's like not anymore something specific. Diversity, inclusion, equity, and belonging needs to be in your DNA. And that drives a good leader. And these are the main leadership skills: open minded, listening, asking open questions, not closed questions. Let them the free space. Sometimes we're afraid as leaders. Oh my God, we want to control, right? No controlling. You need to be, shall I use that? Like an eagle. Huh? It's like flying over the wonderful, terrain, over the country, looking around and saying, oops, there is a problem. Peek. Okay, what can I do here? Okay, how can I help you? And everything is fine. You use the helicopter view. That's what the leader is all about, empowering.
That's great. I love that. And I love the having an eagle eye view over everything for sure. Well, when we've talked about leadership over the years through our workshop programs and podcasts here at Women's Leadership Day, we've often heard comments from women saying that they are not sure how to lead when they do not have direct authority over team members or members on the project they're working on, and really find that a challenge. And a line we've used so many times is, you don't need to be a manager to lead others. So, how do you coach professionals to step into a leadership role when perhaps they may not be coming from a position of power or authority?
Well, that's always an interesting question, and I quite often also encounter that because I can give you my kind of experience, because quite often, because you know how it is, right? If you're in a project, you as a project manager don't have direct authority. huh? And I need to lead a team. I need to lead a project. So I was asking for resources from existing teams, from my team managers to lead a project. And I didn't have direct authority on them. But for whatever reason, they love to work with me. And this is where you come in. If even if you don't have direct authority, you can inspire people because they believe in you. The best thing to do is they see you as an expert. Develop your expertise. Build your knowledge and skills in the domain you want to establish yourself, whatever it is. Huh? And be credible. That's what people love. For me, it was like, oh, if Julia is on the project, this will be interesting. We can have creativity. She will be listening to us. It will give us more credibility as well. They learn. And if she says this is going to be a good project, we believe in her. Commitment, yeah, commitment from my side that this is going to be awesome and we're going to make a difference. And you need to lead by example. Demonstrate leadership qualities through your actions day in, day out with your behaviors. That's really important. Accountability, integrity, right? And a strong work ethic. Me, I always was on the office. I mean, in those times we didn't have COVID yet, yeah. So you were in the office, no other way. I was okay. I don't say you need to be the first in the office, but I liked to be the first in the office, but to leave a bit earlier. That was my thing, and everyone knew about it. And if I'm in the office, I've got a strong ethics. Even if something happened the day before, the night before, I'm always in the office or I respond. I always respond to emails. I always responded to chats. I had this work ethic. And I'm proactive. Take initiative. You need to be proactive. You can't only wait that someone is giving you something on a silver plate. That doesn't work. As we had before, Michelle, I raise my hand all the time. Oh, I want to do this. Oh, what about that? And you learn. You need to take initiative. You are the CEO of your career. You're the chief empowerment officer of your own career, of your own roles, of your own accountabilities. And you cannot do this alone. So, for that, you need to foster relationships and collaboration. And relationships, I mean networking. Yeah? Networking is so important. And if you want to work in a project or you want to take the leap of faith to apply for a bigger position, higher position, be intentional with your network. Go out and ask for a coffee with people who are in this domain, who execute or are already in the role. Learn from them. Even ask for a coffee of the hiring manager, yeah, or of the project lead to know more about the project. That shows interest, that shows engagement, proactivity, and you can easily move into that direction as well without having necessary authority in all the things. We can't have always authority. The authority is yourself. You prove yourself and no one else to anyone, and that shows as well in your behavior, in what you say, how you communicate, how you network. So it's all about you, how you hold yourself accountable, how you look, your ethics, what you say, how you say it. You can have fun as well. You don't need to be always serious. I love dancing, for example, Michelle. I'm always out on parties, the first one to dance. Doesn't
Love
prevent you of not
it.
having fun, you know? And that's really important. And as I told you, champion initiatives. I created the diversity inclusion stream because in the 2009 it started to be hip. So I said, you know what, we need to have something in Thomson Reuters. So I championed it. I took the initiative. I took the initiative to create how shall I say, an events team. We need to have Christmas parties. Let's do this. What about that workshop? That creates authority leadership without authority. Because people want to be part of fun things. People want to be part of purpose. And that helps.
And that's a line that I love that you use, Julia, is be the CEO of your own career, the chief empowerment officer. I remember reading that before, and that really stood out. And I love that. Julia, I'm going to actually shift gears a little bit and talk about another topic that I know is that you're really in the forefront on. And that's everywhere we turn now. We're hearing about AI, artificial intelligence, and it's like we've all of a sudden hit this, like overnight almost. It seems like this boom. It's everywhere. We can't escape it, right? But what role does AI play in leadership, and where are we headed with it?
Oh, AI, as much as I love it, it's also a bit scary, I think, sometimes. But
Yeah,
honestly, it helps us a lot. So, what will it change as leadership? You know what? It's technology. It will help us a lot. Specifically, you might say, "Oh my God, we'll be losing our jobs." No, not at all. AI can't do all the human aspect. What it can, though, and what we can use it for, is about data, algorithms, you know, analyzing vast amounts of data quickly, whereby you would need to have, I don't know, maybe 1 week to analyze everything, but it gives you the results in what, 5 minutes or something,
faster.
you've got all the results. So you can take decisions much more quicker. That's interesting. That's another advantage. So you don't, and there is less human fault. I mean, we do mistakes. So because it's AI, it will give us results which are really spot on, and that's really great. It can give us predictive analysis. It can forecast the future of any risks that we are going to take because of this project, XYZ project. So that means you can mitigate for that, you can anticipate better. It can process, automation. AI can automate routine or repetitive tasks. We know for a fact still our employees are complaining about repetitive tasks, right? They want to have creativity. Doing the same thing day in, day out, to just type in data, or having a contract coming from a customer to get it scanned, upload, do this, do that, can be done by AI. Instead, we can use the wonderful employee with their brain and creativity to do something which will create growth in the company and growth for the human. So there is a lot of things where we can use AI in leadership, and looking ahead, the role of AI in leadership is likely to expand further. Huh? So enhanced decision support, absolutely. Ethical considerations, we need to be a bit more, careful about that maybe. So there I see a bit of a leak, but if we have everything in place, why should we be so afraid of it? It will be collaborative, I think. AI systems will evolve to more seamlessly communication with human leaders, enabling collaboration. Replacing humans will be not the case. It will assist leaders in complex problem solving. Again, facilitating teamwork as well, because AI can do so much. So again, it can greatly assist us, that's for sure, but human leadership skills, it cannot replace the human aspect. The emotions, the eye contact, the thinking for us, how we feel. AI cannot do that. It cannot even replicate it, because we are humans, very, very complex. So leadership will be more about the human rather than the repetitive and reporting and all that stuff, which is not so important for the day in, day out, and for a wonderful, mentally well-being workplace.
I think that's such a great way to look at it, because there's such a fear that, like you were saying at the beginning, that AI is going to take away jobs. But I like how you framed it, that it's going to almost allow us to be more human, if you will, because it's going to free up those redundancies, those repetitive tasks. So we and our employees can be more creative. We can focus on those human elements. That's such a great way to look at it, because we are on such a precipice of major changes and leaps forward like we haven't seen for a while perhaps. So it's a very exciting and kind of almost scary time both at the same time, isn't it?
It is indeed. It is. It's adventurous. It's a new window opening for us. And you know what? We adopted to so many things. That's another thing that we can embrace, because AI will come the way or the other. embrace it, go with it, learn. The best thing as well for women, learn technology, learn how to use it in your favor. You know, ChatGPT, Tome, DeepL. There's a lot of
Mhm.
things which is
So
going
many.
around. Yeah, so many. Learn
New
how
ones
to
every day.
yeah, exactly. Me as well, because sometimes I've got a break. I've got a blank out. Okay, I need to have a fancy title, so I check. Oh, interesting. I never used this word. You know, it's getting different, and you learn. It's interesting because you do that research somehow. It's research if you think about it, and you read about what AI actually gave you as a result, and I'm like, interesting. You learn. There's a different perspective. So we shall embrace it. We have then more time to be a human centered leadership approach at the workplace. And that's beautiful.
And I think this is such an important and timely topic. And I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity for our listeners to mention that you are actually going to be doing a workshop discussion for us in the coming months, talking exactly about this, about the role that AI plays in leadership today. And I'm very excited for that. And Julia, before I let you go today, I want to shift gears a little bit again and talk about your book, Break Free from Your Hamster Wheel. And we actually read this in our own internal book club here at Women's Leadership Today. Within our own organization, we have a monthly book club, and we had selected yours, and we all thoroughly enjoyed it. What was your motivation for putting pen to paper for this book?
That's very interesting. You know, I love to share my experiences, plus I did some interviews as well for that, and combine this with practical assets, not only to talk about it, what you need to do, etc. It's a real workbook. It's about assessing yourself. It goes deeper into it. And I wanted to combine the mindset, the emotional aspect, the NLP mindset aspect, and the practical aspects into one book because I didn't see that this was covered anywhere. And I wanted to share. It's again my desire to share my 5 cents with humans who find it worthy to just learn, to see what's out there and try it out because I love sharing and I really did it with my heart. I mean, I wrote this book with my heart. It's not ChatGPT, by the way. So I will just want to make this not at all. As I wrote it last year, we didn't have ChatGPT so far, anyways. But I really wrote it with my heart to be useful for professionals who feel really stuck because I lived that and witnessed it in so many circumstances at my work as well, plus as well still in different work environments because I coach all the time. So I hear and see that. So I wanted to have this book being a vehicle to do the first step of thinking do am I in a hamster wheel really, and ask the tough questions for yourself, evaluate yourself because it all starts with you, no one else, and then take some necessary steps to move ahead because let's face it, we spend much more time at work than at home. So make work enjoyable, enjoyable.
Well, and it really ties back so well to that line we talked about earlier, being the CEO of your own career, Chief Empowerment Officer. And this book is such a great roadmap for either those just starting out on the career journey of things to kind of get to that next level and to launch it further, or to look ahead and things to keep in mind as you go. But it's also such a great roadmap for anyone looking to make a change in their career, no matter what level you're at. And also, whether it's looking for new opportunities within your current organization, perhaps you love your current organization and you're just wanting to do something a little bit different or more, or you're wanting to take a look at other opportunities outside of your current organization. And you talked just a moment ago about that, getting over that fear of making change. That's another thing that I really like about this book is you break it down into such digestible or achievable steps and nuggets that it kind of almost takes that fear. It's like, first you can do this little bit. So you're not just jumping in blindly. You
Yeah.
really lay out each step one at a time It's very doable, achievable pieces. And so I have to ask, did you take these same steps in your own professional journey?
Absolutely. That's why it all started, because I didn't change the world or my job or my profession or my accountability in one go. I also had phases in my job where I felt bored, where I felt I was not recognized. But sitting down and just whining and whinging about myself doesn't help me. So I need to take action. So these are the actions I took.
Well, Hula, before we wrap up today, I want to ask, for women looking to make a change in their career, what is the number one thing they should be doing or where should they be starting?
Well, you need to start with yourself first. So be aware of your strength, what you bring to the table. Feel yourself that you can do it. Yeah. Self esteem is very important. See what's your mission and brand statement. Create that elevator pitch, strong elevator pitch, very important. And don't shy away of promoting yourself. I call it guilt-free promotion because that's very important for yourself. And then have a place at the table. And when I say have a place at the table, it's like really nicely sitting straight, having your elbows as well, really looking in the eyes of everyone, raising your voice. If someone interrupts you as well, you can say, "Excuse me, I didn't finish. You interrupt me. I want to finish." Be assertive of yourself and get your position. Hold your place.
Such wonderful advice. And Julia, I'd like to thank you so much for joining us today to discuss, the new face of leadership and also your inspiring book.
Thank you. It was so nice to be guest at your podcast and all your interesting questions, which are pertaining to the future, but also to the present.
Oh, it was such a pleasure. And I'd like to thank all of our listeners for joining us today. We release 2 episodes a month available to watch on YouTube, and you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on your favorite streaming service. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe today, and follow along with us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All right, thank you again, Julia, and thank you to everyone who joined us today.
Thank you for listening. The Women's Leadership Today podcast is just one feature of the Women's Leadership Today community. We empower women to advance in their career through targeted professional development learning experiences and resources, such as live and on-demand courses, customized training solutions, up-to-date publications, and more. Visit womensleadershiptoday.com to join our community and take your career to the next level. Together, we can empower women everywhere to lead, innovate, and inspire change.